Hey, what's going on, guys? Look at this. It is the Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots version of Metal Gear Rex. I'm very excited for this. This has recently been reprinted from Kotobukiya, and I'm really looking forward to it just because I built the Metal Gear Rex kit a couple of years back. You guys can check out that review if you're interested. Also built the Sahelanthropus kit, and that was also really cool. I've not yet built the Ray, but that was also just reprinted, so I will be getting and reviewing the Metal Gear Ray for you guys in the near future, but this version of the Metal Gear Rex does look super cool. This actually, as far as I've seen so far, it looks like it actually includes all of the parts to make the original regular Metal Gear Rex if you prefer, but of course what this has is the parts to make it as the damaged version as seen in Metal Gear Solid 4. So, and there's also different, of course, character figures in here. Metal Gear Solid 4 versions of Snake and Raiden there. But we got some beautiful box art here on the front, as you guys can see, but let's go ahead and take a look at that and then get right to building so we can see how this looks all built up. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, taking a moment just to admire this beautiful artwork there on the front. There you can see Snake and Raiden in the destroyed Rex, but it looks awesome. Credit to Hidetaka Tenjin there for the illustration work on this. The weathering and the effects and everything on the illustration just looks super cool here on the box art. We've got all of our titling over here on this side. This is 1/100 scale and a pretty big box, as you can see here on the side of the box. The same thing right there. Let's go around here onto this side here. First, we can see the painted sample to build front and back, what that's going to look like. We've got some information here, probably just about the game story there in Japanese, and then an unpainted sample right here. So it's not going to look anywhere near as nice. I mean, it's just all mostly just in kind of grayscale, which it is ultimately anyway, but it's definitely going to look much better once you have it all painted up. On the other side of the box here, some detail images showing what you have included with this. You have, like I said, Snake, and then that little droid, which I forget the name at the moment, that he has. A couple of kind of action poses of this, just kind of showing the details and posability of it, and there's what you have included for the 1/100 scale figures included with this. The list price right there is 9,800 yen, and with that we can pop the box and see if I can get that off there. There we go. So we've got a lot of runners that we will go through quickly in a moment, but first let's take a look at the instructions. On the front of the instructions, we've got the box art there. Once again, that really cool illustration. On the back side, just the Metal Gear Solid 4 logo. On the inside here, some artwork. Now, I'm not sure if this is Yoji Shinkawa artwork. I mean, I know that he designed the Rex initially, but I'm not sure if that's who did this artwork as well. But you can see some very cool, super detailed, like mechanical illustrations here of the Rex in different forms like that. Down here, some more of the, like the internals of the cockpit and everything. So some really cool illustration work, line art work there of the Rex. And then the color version up there does look really cool. The next page has our parts list and then some about the Metal Gear Rex lineup. So you have the original and then the black versions also available, which is just a kind of color swap version of that. Different decals, I think, essentially is kind of the main thing. The parts list continues here on the next page, and then we get right into the construction. And it looks like it does show you like which runners are used for each step. So right here for steps 1 through 11, it's going to use all of those runners. So that's kind of convenient, just kind of a nice thing to have in there that helps you along with the construction. So that's going to continue on through the rest of the manual here. Once we get towards the back, there's the action where it shows in like a few different action poses there, the painted sample of that, and then right here we've got the color guide. So the color guide right here for the different colors around on a kit, and the camouflage template. So just reference images there. So if you wanted to recreate the camouflage as exactly as possible, you can refer to this, and it gives you all sorts of different views of the kit, of views of like every aspect of the kit there, so you can see like the camo pattern on that. So that's cool. All right, and here is our 100 scale figures. There's the little mech, our seated Snake figure there, and Raiden and his leg are going to be separate. As you can see, this is all molded in just kind of like a sort of skin tone color, so obviously going to be some painting required for those. We have some polycaps here as well. PC runner, we've got 2 of these in black. Then runners A, B, C, and D are all going to be sort of larger runners here with a lot of the outer mechanical armor on it here in this kind of warm gray color. Here is runner B with the part for the original head. Now we will we'll have a new part for the damaged head later on, as you'll see. Runner C for some more of those parts. And so yeah, again, if you're just building this as the Metal Gear Solid 4 version, a lot of these parts you're not going to end up using. And then runner D here as well. And so you can see, like, including this is parts for the railgun. So yeah, you have all the parts to make it as the original Rex if you want. And as you can see, we've got 2 of this D runner, but I think you'll have to refer to that manual separately, because I don't think that this manual shows you the steps for building the parts which are not a part of this version of the kit, essentially. So anyway, here's runner E, and then runner F similarly is in this lighter kind of warm off-white color there. If you look really closely here on the F runner, you can see in a metallic light blue color, we have that pre-printed there for the kind of glowing eyes of the Metal Gear Rex. Runner G switches back to another slightly different shade of medium gray. And then runner H, we have 2 of is some more parts in that very light gray, sort of warm off-white color. Same thing here on runner I as well. So you can see there's a lot of big parts and a lot of very little parts in this kit as well. Runner J is then in a much darker gray here for these parts. Same thing for runner K. We've got 2 of the K runner. And then runner L is this small little runner here with a few little clear parts on it. Runner M is some more light gray parts there. Runner N is our clear parts for the stand for standing this up on the base, and this is in a clear ABS plastic there. Runner O is some like metallic orange gold kind of coated parts here for a couple little orange details. Runner P is our base plate here in a medium gray color. And from runner Q here, we're getting into some of the damaged parts. So this one, as you can see, is marked for the Metal Gear Solid 4 version. So these are going to be some of the alternate parts for the damaged version. Runners R and S here are in the medium gray color. Like I was mentioning, there's the part for the damaged head, and some more parts here on runner S. Runner T, some more new parts in the light gray color, and that's going to continue here onto runner U as well, some of our damaged parts there. And last but certainly not least, runner V is going to be some more parts in dark gray, and that's everything. All right.
Alright guys, so here's what the model kit looks like once you get it all put together. Obviously it's going to benefit quite a lot if you go ahead and do some weathering and everything on it, just because it is the damaged version. You are going to want to weather it probably at least a little bit to make it look that much more weathered. But just as it is, it's a really great looking kit. I love the design and the details, the proportions, everything on it. It just looks so perfect. If you're a fan of the game, you really will enjoy this. Now, as for the review here for this portion of the video, it's not necessarily going to be a whole lot to go over, as it doesn't really have a bunch of accessories or gimmicks necessarily. It's pretty much just kind of a statue, but it does have some pretty cool features. And I want to make sure to go over everything in detail here with you guys. So let's go ahead and take a closer look here at the Rex. As far as any like accessories we have for it, it's really just going to be your little figures here. You got your Raiden and your Metal Gear Mark III there. I do have the seated snake inside the Rex at the moment. It's right inside there. So obviously those are going to take some painting to be completely color accurate. But that's really kind of about it. I do also have these clear parts. These go right here in the side of the head, those 4 holes right there. You're going to put these 4 clear parts. This other clear part is for the railgun. And on that note, as I mentioned before, we have all the parts to make this as the original Metal Gear Rex. It includes all the parts to make the railgun, so you're gonna have a lot of leftover parts here with this kit. But I guess the cool part with that is that you could make those parts and then use them for a different kit, or use them for kit bashing material, like making the undamaged radome here on the one side and the railgun there. You could use those for something else, or use them on this kit if you really wanted to. So this just plugs onto the base via this arm here. So just to take a look at that, you can see you can plug this onto either here, here, or here on the base, just because it uses kind of a 2-prong adapter here like that. That said, if you didn't want to use that one, you can also plug this into one of the corners. There's 2 spots there on the corner, not on these front corners there, that you could just plug the base into without this adapter piece. And the arm works pretty well. I mean, you just have 2 points of articulation that do kind of ratchet, so they are pretty solid enough to be able to hold up the kit. Now the kit is kind of difficult to balance without that, though you do have these kind of extra legs which will fold out here at the back, which you can use for like additional balance points right there. So those move out like so. Up under here, you can turn and bend this part right there. The legs are attached to the body via a ball joint here, so you can rotate them and adjust the angle like so. This part, which just came off there, you may want to glue that connector in there so that that's not going to pop out on you. But anyway, this part here also just on a ball joint, so you can adjust the angle of that, rotate that up and down. The legs here, it's sort of like knee joint, as it were. This part of the leg bends down like that, and you can also rotate the leg here at this point. So if you wanted to get like a pretty wide stance out of that, you can do like so. The leg is also going to extend out here like that, and you can see a lot more mechanical details in and around there. Everywhere is really nicely detailed here on this. The little toes can bend up and down like that, and actually this little pile driver spike here can extend out as well. You can pull that out and down if you want it to have that pose like it's actually sticking into the ground or something. The little foot can bend forward and back, can adjust the angle of that side to side there as well. And this whole foot actually does slide in and out a little bit there as well, so you can slide that out, and again you can kind of adjust the angle of that however you might need to get it to sit as flat as you can. So like I was saying, you can get the leg to spread pretty wide, and the angle of the foot can be adjusted pretty well to be able to keep a flat stance on the ground. Now showing you all the articulation there on the kind of more damaged of the two legs here. Over on this side, you're missing one of the toe spikes, but again, you do have the parts for that if you did want to actually have it symmetrical and have the two spikes on both sides. The smoke launcher is here on like the kind of knee. This little door does flip open there for the little micro missiles there in the knee, but again, you can just kind of close that up. This side is just completely open on the damaged side there. For the neck, you can lift it up and down there at the base, and then here at the kind of base of the head, kind of as it were, you can adjust the angle of that kind of every which way, side to side. You can make it kind of looking more up or more down and compact in there like that. So a lot of really nice articulation there of the neck for this. As you saw there, the mouth kind of opens up, kind of extends down and out to the front like that. And inside there, even a lot of really nice detail up inside. And so everything's all really nicely represented. You can tell they paid a lot of attention to kind of all the details of the design to try to recreate as much as they can here in the model kit for this. And that little pre-printed kind of metallic blue for the eye there is kind of hard to notice, but it does look nice there. Up here on the back, this part also moves around on a ball joint at the base, and then you can also adjust the angle up and down a little bit there like that. Over here on this side where we just have the stub of where the railgun was connected, that's also on a little hinge polycap, so you can rotate that, and this side as well, side to side a little bit. The radome can also be adjusted a little bit, but you're probably not going to want to move that too much because it's just going to be colliding with the head really. Really cool detail and damaged parts here for that, with this top part being kind of like set at an angle to be kind of bent like that. And then going up around here onto the top, even though some of them are missing as part of the damage, some of the doors that are still here do open up like that on the top, so you can pop all those open if you wanted to. Just open them up like so. And yeah, where the base plugs in going around to the bottom side here is right there, but you can actually close that up if you didn't want to have it connected to the base. You just slide that part back to close that up so you don't have that hole there if you wanted to, for whatever reason, have that covered. So like I said, guys, without too much else to really go over here with this kit, all I can really tell you guys is that it's a really, really cool kit. I really am glad that they did release this as a separate kit from the original, just because if you are specifically a fan of the Metal Gear Solid 4 game, or honestly just a fan of the Metal Gear games in general, even if 4 is not particularly your favorite entry, or you don't have any like special attachment to this version of the design of the Rex, I think it's just a really cool version of the Rex. I mean, it's something that you could maybe make on your own. Using like the original one, you could just do some battle damage or whatever on its own, but this one does include a lot of like specific parts that include details that, like, if you were to just take the original kit and just do like a bunch of physical damage on it, you wouldn't have a lot of these internal details that you have that are made up with some of the new parts here for this kit. So it is really nice. It's certainly going to look that much better once you do go ahead and do some weathering on it. I think fully painting up the kit will allow you to really go all out on the weathering, but there's a lot of just simple weathering techniques that you could do on this without fully painting it. Just doing your panel lining. You could do some like chipping on it, just with like some sponge chipping, something like that kind of thing, just around some of the edges. And there's techniques that you could do weathering just directly here on the plastic that would definitely enhance the look of it, even if you don't want to fully paint the whole thing. So if you guys are Metal Gear fans, I can highly recommend this kit. That said, if you do already have the original, and then maybe you also have the black version, so let's say for example you already have two versions of the Metal Gear Rex, If you're wondering if you really want a third one, I would say it's definitely worth it. It is really cool. I have all three and I definitely have no regrets about it. But it's great that Kotobukiya has been reprinting their Metal Gear kits. So if you did decide that you want to get it, if you don't have one yet, it's a good opportunity to pick one up. So if you guys do want to pick one up for yourself, you can check the link in the video description to USA Gundam Store. We've got them there, as well as a lot of other cool stuff there. Also, the Metal Gear Ray has also just recently been reprinted. So I'll be reviewing that one for you guys, as well as I've not built the Ray before. So I'm looking forward to building that one as well. And we'll check that out here in the near future. But for now, guys, check the link in the video description to USA Gundam Store. Thank you all so much for all of your support, liking the video, commenting, subscribing. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you next time. Bye.